Okay, Flo, I see my adult children having marriage issues. Can I step in with advice, or do I just leave them alone to figure it out themselves?
Uh-oh. What are you gonna do?
Let's go, Flo.
I mean, we're sitting here as women. We give advice.
That's right.
We're sitting in this, very unique.
So follow me as I follow Christ. Here's the, can I step in? You can do anything. Should you step in? Is the real question.
That's where it is. That's where it is.
Should you?
That's right.
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
She went spiritual on you.
Got to bring it in front of context. Got to bring it in.
Dad.
No, but really, I think that there is a blessing to being able to have access to your elders and your elders having access to you. And while I believe that your words should be few and seasoned with grace, and that, excuse me, be wise as a serpent and harmless as a dove.
That's good.
However, don't dismiss the importance and the wisdom that your in-laws will have. Now, I'm not talking about outlaws, I'm talking about in-laws. Okay, so for example, Naomi had such an impact on Ruth that she left pagan gods.
Where you go, I'll go.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
And so she had wisdom. Moses' story would have went completely different. He'd have died before his time prematurely had he not been sensitive to his father-in-law, Jethro.
Yes.
Wow.
Peter.
Wow.
Good, Flo.
The impact, biblically, Peter's mother-in-law lived with them. So, and because of Peter's relationship with Jesus, she was healed of a fever.
Yes.
And then she went on to serve Jesus. And so there is some, in-laws, all jokes aside, sometimes get a bad name.
Yeah.
And I think all of us have to learn healthy boundaries in families.
that's right.
I was the type of person, when my grandmother was alive, I talked to her every day. And I probably talked to her about everything. But I got very wise counsel from her. Who I could not talk to every day about something going on in my home would have been my father. Because he's going to come into rescue. So I needed to know the difference. You know what I mean?
Good.
And, you have to remember that when you are in a marriage, Corey's my sister, I can share something with her. She's going to still be mad at my spouse when we make up this evening. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
That's
so
so true.
those are the things that you have to watch,
I live down the street from my mother-in-law, and so she, we're very close, and I love her because I'm always right and Buck's always wrong.
Oh, that's how my mother is.
I think there's a right way and a wrong way to give advice. Like, I think you need to do that without criticism. And I think we all know that way of like giving advice. Like, are you like throwing in little jabs when you're, saying like, I noticed something about, I noticed you and he are really having some issues, or are you just sort of, relating it to your own marriage? It's really good when you can say like, yeah, we struggled with that, if you can relate it to something that you went through. And I think it's also better if you're doing a lot more listening than, advising. And if you're developing a relationship with your, grown children that are in relationships, that they can come to you with those things. You have to be developing that relationship far before those things are happening, and cultivating that relationship so that they will come to you when they have those issues, or that you can come to them and say like, I noticed you're having these issues, that we can talk about those things.
Kathy would always bring up the point, I'm not saying anything unless I'm asked, And so, in this case, she really has a good point, you want to ask, because remember, you can address things. That's the wonderful thing about being in God. I don't have to open my mouth because I can get it done on my knees.
That's right. Amen.
That's
Amen.
where I'm headed. I love when my children text or call and say, Mom, just pray.
Yeah.
And then I know, because if we jump into the problem, or me, I'm not saying everybody, wants to control or solve or get to the solution, Only the Spirit of God can do what human flesh can't do.
So
And
good,
when they
so good.
text and they say, Mom, please pray, then you know, okay, Lord, I got to pray first. They want me to pray. They might not want me to know details, but they want me involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all I can say to you, create an atmosphere. When they say something, when they do something, I'm going to pray. And then, because always he has the answer, we don't know, as smart as we ladies are, or we think we are, we don't have the answer on the real problem often. There's an underlying issue.
Yeah. I really need that wisdom because I love to tell my kids what to do. Like, love it. Like,
Yes.
I feel like almost responsible to
Yeah.
tell them.
But key word, you said your children. When
Yeah.
your children get married, you are now not counseling just your child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're
Yes.
counseling an adult in a relationship.
And you know what? I thought about that too because I'm thinking I tell my children what to do all the time right now because of where they are.
Right,
you
right.
know, and I think we have to be careful that we're not projecting what we want
Yes.
on that relationship. So we're kind of getting in there and we're just because we want it to
Then they're
move
going to
it.
please you.
They're gonna please
and not
you.
God.
Yeah, and that's so true. And I think the wisdom piece is so key. Knowing when to share, what to share, and also because you may be robbing them of an opportunity to grow together in
so good.
conflict.
That is so good.
Yeah,
Ooh,
yeah.
okay, those are good answers.